Folks, welcome to Locker Room Talk with a very special guest, my fiance Kelly Taylor.
From the Seltzer and Bitters comedy show.
Yeah.
Next one is March 22nd at the Tiny Cupboard. If you're in New York, you know anyone in New York, tell them to come out to the Tiny Cupboard March 22nd. What's up, Kelly?
What's up, everybody?
How you doing, motherfucker?
Happy to be here. Happy to not be a fiance.
Yikes.
Yes.
Don't say it into the mic, babe.
Yeah.
Not
You're going to
into my-
manifest that.
Yeah.
Ugh. Sorry, I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm looking for.
Should we start
Yeah,
again?
no. It's
Recording.
going. It's going.
Yeah, I know.
We're recording, Bobby? We are recording.
Round 2, as
Yes.
far as anyone knows. Yikes, dude. Well, hopefully. Hey, if you're listening to this and also an Apple employee, please figure out why my phone stops recording at 4K 60 frames per second. If I need to keep it at 1080, let me know.
The Patreon episode this week will be audio only, but this is video as long as this stays recording the whole time.
We'll see. We're gonna find it. We're gonna have Matt do a quick camera check in 20 minutes.
Yes. We briefly, on the what it will now be the Patreon, talked about the Oscars. We can, did you watch any of the Oscar movies, Kelly?
So I hadn't watched any of the Oscar movies, but I do know the discourse about some of them, and one of them being people being annoyed that Brendan Fraser was nominated for Best Actor
in The Whale.
in The Whale, because they're like, people on the internet, I should say, are like, why wouldn't you hire a 600-pound actor?
Yeah,
They have to exist.
He was doing Fat Face.
He was doing Fat Face.
I love that.
They could have hired Joe on the
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be as endearing.
The beluga whale.
Yeah.
The baby
The
beluga.
baby beluga. Nice, dude.
Yeah.
I literally weigh more than Joe, so I don't know
Yeah.
where I thought I was going with that joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. When it comes to, it's like, yeah, maybe they could have hired somebody a little bit fatter, but they still would have had to have done prosthetics and stuff. So, you know, I haven't seen it. I heard it was really good.
I know. Wasn't it that Austin Butler for Elvis was the favorite to win Best Actor?
I don't know
That's
who
what I
was
thought
the
I'd
favorite.
I know Everything Everywhere All at Once won like a lot of the awards, right?
Yeah.
That seems like a really good movie from what
Yeah.
everyone's been
Yeah,
saying.
we have to watch it.
It's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Then there's the guy who played Short Round, won Best Supporting Actor, was it?
How funny is that? That was like a movie from 40 years ago. but
Yeah.
He's still
Yes,
known
he
as
won
that.
Best Supporting
Short
Actor.
Round, and he's like
Yeah.
hugging I saw a picture of him and Harrison Ford hugging.
Yeah.
Gay.
He's the same actor from The Goonies?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I wasn't
The
being
Goonies
racist.
and...
You're thinking of the Gookies.
The Goonies is the best. Stop.
That was a good one. Goonies was a good one.
Goonies
Yeah.
was the good one.
Who else? And we talked briefly. Jamie Lee Curtis controversially beat Angela Bassett.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
very funny. The discourse was Angela Bassett was not happy, and you're seeing it's just she isn't overly excited, but she's not like scowling
And
or
like
anything.
maybe it has nothing to do with Jamie Lee Curtis. Like she probably was like scowling because she hadn't won.
Yeah.
Like it had nothing. I mean, I don't know. It could have something to do with her. It probably had nothing to do with it. Jamie Lee Curtis. And for people that think that the girl that was up for Best Supporting Actress alongside Jamie Lee Curtis from Everything Everywhere All at Once, I can't think of her name.
Michelle Yeoh.
Was it Michelle? People are like, she should have won. And it's like, everybody has their time. Like Jamie Lee Curtis, like, is a self-proclaimed nepotism baby. Nepo baby. And she's been in a lot of movies. She's done a lot of time.
Freaky Friday,
Freaky
Activia,
Friday. Yeah.
Activia yogurt.
You know, but
He's done it all.
I don't. It's like, but we never really know her parents.
Tony
you know.
Tony Curtis
But
is like
she
a famous
totally
actor.
got roles because I think she said, like, I would not have gotten Halloween without my parents. Like,
Yeah.
she said that.
Yeah, Tony Curtis was like a big actor in like the 50s. I think he was in Spartacus. I may be making that up.
Farticus.
Spartacus.
I think she was like a Drew Barrymore level type of Nepo baby where, like,
Yeah.
her parents were, like, super influential and important, which got her
At
roles
least-
and stuff.
At least Drew Barrymore had the good courtesy to lose her damn mind.
Yeah.
That was fucking cool.
She's got a great talk show now.
Does she?
She does like
Popular.
one of those daytime talk shows.
One
Us-
time,
I-
I
yeah.
went to a recording of
Yeah?
Drew Barrymore's show. Yeah, because my friend Judy, shout out to Judy, she does animal rescue. And
Okay.
Drew had some people that do animal rescue on the show.
So your friend was on the show?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. That's
yeah,
awesome.
It was funny.
Yeah. What was it like being at a live date? I never been to a daytime talk show live.
So I went with my mom many years ago to see the Dr. Oz show.
Okay.
So it wasn't my first like studio audience recording.
Yeah.
But it's just like always cool to see how big the set is.
Yeah.
Or I guess how
Yeah.
big or small depending on how you look at it. And how they like retake things from when you actually see it
Yeah.
in person.
Was it like warm up comic and that whole thing?
I can't remember if they had a warm up guy. I don't think they did. I think they just like gave away prizes and stuff.
Yeah. Was it a big applause sign or the getting everyone to cheer at different
Yeah,
moments?
there was all that stuff. It was also like during 2021, so it was a little COVID-y, a little weird,
okay.
you know?
Yeah.
But like they gave you like a specific like Drew Barrymore mask, COVID mask to wear.
It had trace elements of cocaine on it.
Yeah.
That's why it's such a good time.
Yeah.
Well, you also went to Stephen Colbert with my mom.
I did go
Yeah.
to
You went
that
to
with your
late
mom.
night with the late night or the Colbert Report?
I think it was late night.
Okay,
It
I
was
went
late
to
night.
I went to a Colbert Report back in the day.
Yeah.
Colbert Report was so good.
Yeah,
Colbert
but
Report was so good.
I did remember I wasn't doing comedy. I was wrestling at the time, so I didn't even before I did comedy, I knew nothing about comedy. I know very little now. And so I went into the show not realizing, like, the guy beforehand, before we even saw the warm-up comic, a guy before we get in said, "This is TV. We value volume over authenticity. So whether you like the jokes or not, be loud, laugh, like full on."
I don't remember
Yeah.
that specifically, but I do think at Colbert that was something that was said.
Yeah.
And the warm-up guy was fine. He was funny for given the
Yeah.
moment to like get us all riled up.
Yeah.
I had that opinion about him. Joe's mom loved him. So
Okay.
like he's like perfect for that thing.
Yeah.
That being his like only gig, and good for him. You know, I don't
Yeah.
remember his name.
Yeah. I remember, the guy did warm up for when I saw Colbert, just did a bunch of crowd work. And
Yeah,
it
he
seemed
did
to
some
go
crowd
well.
work.
But yeah, it was like a lot of the, are you guys excited to see Stephen Colbert? It's kind of stuff where I respect a comedian who's able to do that because I don't think I could necessarily. But it does feel like almost like we talked before, my dad's classical pianist and he has to play pop songs for like school
Yeah.
plays. That feels kind of like that for a comedian to like have to do warm up for Colbert or Drew Barrymore or just warm up. In general, it's like you could be doing something so much better.
But maybe it's like for them, it's like an easy check, and they are working on
Yeah.
something better.
Yeah,
It's
a
like,
gig
Yeah.
is a gig.
look, I get to like do like 20 minutes of crowd work and riffing. I
Yeah.
make a couple thousand doing that,
Yeah.
and then the rest of my evening's free to go do spots elsewhere.
Yeah.
I'd rather do that than have my
Day
flipping
job, yeah.
sales job. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, man.
They're
Yeah.
more comics than we'll ever be. So.
Yeah. I was talking to my dad a couple days ago, and I asked him
Ooh.
about the playing pop songs, and I asked because we talked about it. It was like, how long did it take him to learn them? And I asked him, and he said it always took him less time to learn how to play it than it took the kids to learn how to sing it. So he was always just able to be ahead of them.
Nice.
But yeah, it was. I asked him. I think we talked about this off mic. I asked my dad why he didn't like pursue playing more, like doing concerts and stuff. He did a few of them, and he said that what he enjoyed more than like when it's like, oh, a bunch of people come to a concert and expect him to play Brahms or Chopin without missing a note. He way more enjoyed when you were just hanging out somewhere and there was a piano when he started playing, and everyone's like, "Whoa, you're really good." That appealed more to him than the actual doing a concert.
Did your dad ever bang out the da 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 da? You ever down on the piano?
I mean, whatever that is, I'm sure he could do it.
I will see, dude.
It's very basic.
We'll find out, dude.
He plays Beethoven symphonies. I'm pretty sure he can handle that.
I don't know, dude. You keep saying that, but we've never
Yeah.
seen this alleged father of yours.
What you just described, I feel like, was my life before I did stand-up.
Yeah.
Because before, like, people at my job, before people were like, "Oh, Bobby's a comedian," I got to be the funny guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then once you're a comedian, you can't even I'll just say something. like kind of funny in the moment based on what we're talking about, and then everyone has to be like, "Oh, that's where this is."
That's why you don't tell people you're a comedian. But as I've told you, no more. People still think I'm the funniest guy at the office, and they have no idea.
Cheat code.
It's like it's. I feel like I'm fucking Batman.
Everywhere in life, you like when you're a comedian, you make a joke, and it's not even, oh my god, that guy's really funny. It's like, well, he's a comedian.
It's like,
Can you like
stop being so on all
Can
the
you
time.
no, it's like
It's
workshopping.
annoying.
Are you workshopping this? Are you running a bit by
Or
me?
you don't even get credit for it. Like even like in front of my parents, like we meet someone who we don't know before, and I make a joke before they know I'm a comedian. I make a joke, person laughs. My dad will be like, he's a comedian. It's like, hey, don't take that away. It's
Yeah.
it's like you can't expect him to like you can't just give him credit for being funny. He's a comedian.
And then the ceiling is like higher, because then like God forbid you say something that like misses. If you are a quote unquote civilian, it's fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't even register for them. But then there's this whole thing of like, well,
guy's
don't
a
quit
co-
your day job, and I'm
that
like, I'm
guy's-
going
yeah.
to. I'm actually going to,
Yeah,
Dad.
that guy's a comedian.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, my
Yikes.
dad told me a story one time. He was out somewhere with his family, and there was a piano, and he asked the people in the store they were in or whatever if he could play this and just keep it down because there's other people around. He starts playing, and people started gathering. Like there was a line of people just to watch him play.
Did he get tips?
I didn't ask him. He didn't tell me.
Were people holding up their lighters?
Yes.
When he was like fucking like.
But he told
pounding on it.
he told me that time when that happened was like his favorite experience playing piano more than any of the concerts he played. That was like more enjoyable to him.
It's like the direct
Yeah.
opposite of comedy.
Oh yeah, because like an ambush show in comedy, it's like
Get me out of here.
yeah. My favorite time ever doing comedy is when a bar full of patrons who thought they were going to get to watch the NBA Finals instead had to hear my jokes.
You know what comedy is? It's like an erection.
Yeah.
You only want to experience it when you prepare to experience it.
Yeah.
If it's a surprise, then it's a thing to deal with.
Yeah, and Bobby's never able to maintain it.
Exactly. Both I have very hard times
You're
with.
incredibly ashamed of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly, dude.
Yeah. And I break one out in the middle of math class in junior high school. Happened all the time.
Yeah, Matt's a class clown.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Kelly, were you like class clown?
No, I was very quiet. I didn't even
Okay.
get a superlative. I wanted to fly so far under the radar. Like it was all very intentional. Like I
Yeah.
did not want to be perceived. I just had
You didn't want to be noticed at all.
no, not at all. I wanted to be. I mean, but I say that yet. I mean, I went to Catholic school, so like I couldn't dress like crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, respect. And so I couldn't dress crazy because like we had uniforms. But like if I had gone to a public school, I probably would be wearing like Hot Topic jeans with chains, which is like the
Yeah.
direct opposite of not wanting to be perceived. So yeah, I don't know. I definitely wasn't the class clown. I do remember the first time I realized I was like, oh, I'm funny was when it was maybe not the first time I realized I was funny, but I remember it was post-college. I had a shore house with my friends, and we were all like in the kitchen drinking, having a great time. And I forget what I said, but it was a joke that killed. And my friend Rob goes, "It's always the quiet ones. It's always the quiet ones." And I was like, oh, that felt nice.
Yeah.
There was something I was going to say about something you mentioned before. I lost it.
About ambush comedy shows.
Oh, yeah. The only thing worse than interrupting people sitting in a bar, trying to watch a game or whatever, is when I willingly go to an open mic that is in a coffee shop and people are like, I came here to work on my paper.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
Like they
this
have their
is
work
now-
laptops, and then like come like, oh, so I fucking killed somebody, and they're like, oh,
Yeah.
great. And like they kind of make that
So
like
I was-
conscious decision, like
Yeah.
I want to leave now.
Yeah.
That sucks.
There's a coffee shop near where I live that I go to do like writing or editing. And they have music, which is fine as background noise, but sometimes the musicians, they have like either a following or it's just like a thing at this coffee shop where a lot of people will come to hang out and it becomes like a big deal. And it's not distracting to me, but it is kind of I like when there's just like someone playing guitar in the background. But when there's like a whole bunch of people gathering and it's a party, there is a little part of me that's kind of like, come on, this music's supposed to just be in the background.
Ooh.
I shouldn't be hearing you guys talk about the music.
Matt's saying what needs to be said.
Yeah.
This is such a mad perspective on music.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well,
come
because
on.
because
We all love listening to
Yes.
the wrestlers' entrance music,
Yes.
but let's not make it the highlight of our evening.
I have a very shallow relationship with music.
Oh,
Yeah,
because
I've
of his
been-
dad.
Yes.
It's your way of
it is the
rebelling.
exact
go in the
opposite.
other direction.
Yeah, where I will say that I love a band and then can't name more than their 4 singles as like my favorite songs of theirs. Like I didn't grow up listening to like full albums mostly. There's only a couple that I listened to the full album of.
But that's fine.
Yeah.
I think like to be a casual music listener or to like enjoy it a little bit.
Yeah.
What creeps me out is people that say they don't like music.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh.
that's
You
weird.
don't like music?
Yeah, I remember I was like friends with this kid and I was like, what kind of music do you like? You know, we just like met each other
How
and he's
old
like,
was
oh,
this? How long ago was this?
I want to say like junior high.
Okay.
Yeah, and I
Well,
was
this
like,
was like pre-fucking Spotify and shit.
yeah, where you
know.
had I guess you had to be a little more like you needed a
Seek it out.
Walkman and you needed to buy CDs. But there were those kids that had just like the Now That's What I Call Music Volume 8.
I
or
fucking
whatever.
Yeah.
love those.
Yeah. There's the Matthews
There's a
of
market.
the world.
Yeah, there's a market.
But he was like, yeah, I just don't like music. I'm like, any?
Yeah.
That felt so. It's almost like saying like I don't like hugs.
I feel
Yeah.
like
Right.
he might have just been like, I don't have a favorite band. You know, that might be.
Yeah.
No, I don't. My older brother, he is somebody that maybe he's changed his opinions on it, but in the past, like in high school and elementary school, I remember him being like, I don't really like any kind of music.
Yeah.
You know.
I remember when
Yikes.
I was in college, someone said they're not really into comedy, and that seemed like very strange to me.
I don't want to laugh.
But
I understand that though.
But I do think now that I do comedy, I think way more people should admit that they don't like comedy.
Yeah.
There's way too many people who think they like comedy but actually don't.
Well, I think they like comedy, but they think they're funny, and I think that's
Yeah.
the problem. They like their comedy
Yeah.
when they shouldn't.
Comedy's a weird thing because it's it seems to attract people that failed at their original art.
Yeah.
You know.
What was your original art, Bobbert? I guess
Oh.
punk rock.
Yeah, punk rock.
you had a
hip-hop.
band.
Matt
I
was
had
a,
a band.
Matt was a former wrestler.
Yeah.
My
I wanted to be an actor and a cartoonist, but I honestly feel like by making myself a human cartoon, I've done both.
Can you draw?
I used to. I do like cartoons, but I would never. I would draw like the characters, but I hated drawing like backgrounds and environments
Okay.
and shit. You know, it's like, oh, I can't draw people hanging out in an apartment, but I can draw like 2 people hanging out.
Definitely can't draw a crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, Matthew.
My-
Go check the fucking tape, Matt. Get out of my fucking site. You fucking ape.
well,
Is it?
Sometimes
Fuck yeah,
Wow.
dude. Okay, Apple, I forgive you if I just have to record at 1080p. Let me know, dude.
I mean,
will-
you never know. It could still go to shit.
No, it's impossible. It's impossible for it to fail this time.
The next time I install Joe, I'll check again.
yeah, dude.
Another
That'll
20,
be the-
30 minutes or so.
Yeah. Okay. I got the time. I'll let you know when I'm insulted and you need to
Yes.
check.
Kelly, what was your art before comedy?
Fashion.
Fashion.
Yep, I got my degree in fashion.
Yeah.
Did you almost do a spit take?
I was going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very
Fashion.
funny.
What did you want to do with fashion?
I used to sew clothes. So
Okay.
I had a job where I worked at this company where I worked in the production of fashion of these fashion items, and that's so weird. The girl that I used to work with, she's one of my really good friends, just texted me asking me if I knew this client that we both had.
Somebody passed away.
So
They
to
died.
An
me,
angel got its wings.
They died.
To me-
This is the fucking Final Destination type shit.
to
so
me, I know so little about fashion that it all seems made up to me. Like when it's just this is what's in. I'm like, did they just pick that? Like to me, I'm like, there's no rhyme or reason to it.
I think part of the reason why I didn't get anywhere with fashion really was because I always felt like I didn't belong. 'Cause
Okay.
it's like a lot of fashion is like having a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's it entirely.
But
at
like, you
all.
don't see many fucking homeless fashion designers who are like, "Oh, I've sewn together multiple cardboard boxes. For
Yeah.
this beautiful fall ensemble," and they're like, "Oh, was that a conscious effort to have your big toe sticking out of a hole in your shoe?" And they're like, verily it was.
Maybe that's where the holy jeans in the 90s came from.
I'm sure it was.
It was a homeless fashion designer who had holes in his...
it was a fucking fashion designer that saw a homeless person, was like, brilliant.
Yeah.
The fucking multi-billionaire was like, the pee-pee pants, pee-pee in the pants. What a bold and invigorating choice. You know, that's all. That's all it was, dude. Fashion is just like, it's, you know, fashion should be unique to the person. But it's not. And the only reason they're like, oh, well, we have, look, this is shit for fucking disabled. The only reason they have disabled people on their catalogs is because it's to sell. They don't consciously make
Everything
clothes for
is just to sell. Like I'm wearing jeans from Abercrombie right now, which literally back when Abercrombie was popular, they didn't have jeans that came in my size. Like I was not the market for them. They were like very specific. You have to be skinny. You have to like look a certain way to own these items. And now what is the way to make money now? Being inclusive to everybody. And they changed their tune because it doesn't matter. It's all about making money.
KKK, not just for fucking whites no more. I don't care if you're in a wheelchair, if you have a lisp, if you're disabled, as long as you can burn a cross and terrorize a black family. Well, welcome to the community, brother.
I believe people of all backgrounds can come together to hate Jews and blacks.
That's awesome.
Dalton? Who called Dalton?
Yeah, Kelly.
Just kidding.
Kelly, you started that riff. But yeah, a lot of times the stuff in fashion that gets the most attention will be at like a fashion show, the thing that's like the most avant-garde thing almost.
Well,
where it's like,
now-
here's the person wearing the upside-down potato sack.
Well, I mean, now it's what's going to blow up on social media.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course, you're going to do the most like avant-garde, crazy thing that like really doesn't have any practical wear.
Yeah.
And also, you know, kind of going back to what you guys were saying about like, oh, you know, I'm taking this look off of a homeless guy. A lot of fashion is looking at street style and making it runway.
Yeah.
And
well, I mean, baggy clothes in
inaccessible.
general was just like, you know, poor people having hand-me-downs. And it's like, that looks cool. What
Yeah.
if we designed it to be
Yeah.
baggy?
what if we made money off of it?
I like
And-
baggy clothes because it hid my fat little body.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, dude, not only do I get to like look cool, no one's going to know I'm fat. And guess what? Neither of those happened. I didn't look cool, and people knew I still looked fat.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hate that shit. It is like wearing a T-shirt in the swimming pool as a kid. I would do
Yep.
that all the time.
Yep.
What is
Anything that draws if you wear baggy clothing, people are gonna. It almost makes you look fatter. If you're a short guy that wears lifts, you look shorter.
Yeah.
Right.
Anything to like change how you look just draws more attention.
To your
Yeah.
shortcomings. You don't. It doesn't. They always think like, oh, it hides it so well, and it's like, no, not unless you're like 90% scar tissue underneath your clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? Then maybe it hides that shit.
The lifts thing, it's like I would rather be a short guy than a short guy that wears lifts.
Well,
You know what?
No,
The
100%.
ultimate-
That's a different type of
100%.
You
Yeah.
can't give yourself too much. If you do like 1 inch on lifts, then it's not that noticeable, and it's like a little bit of a nice boost. But if you're doing 3, 4, 5 inches, then it's like obvious.
You're wearing
Yeah, at a
platform
certain
shoes.
Yeah, at a certain
Yeah.
point it becomes stilts.
Yeah.
And they're like, I'm actually 6'1" now. What's
Yeah.
up?
What is that? Heels like a woman? I
Yeah.
don't think so. I'll be fucking short. And also those guys that get like this fucking surgery to like break their shins and grow. What a bunch of fucking losers, dude. I'd
Yeah.
rather spend that money on cocaine.
Yeah.
And you're going to fucking use it to try to get... If you want to get women, it has nothing to do with how tall you are. It's about how much coke you do. Remember when I brought coke to your fucking house and we did it, babe?
I don't remember that at all,
I was
YouTube.
like, I was like, hey, baby, let's do a little coke. And
Yeah.
you're like, damn, are you single? And I'm like, tonight I am. And we've been together ever since.
Joe,
Yeah.
you know there's a Short King locker room talk listener that has access to cocaine that is definitely going to give cocaine to women with nothing in return.
Who, is that me?
No, though, listener to the podcast.
Who's that?
Well, now they're spent in the coke, so relax.
Someone
Don't
in our
do that.
Discord, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm referring to a specific person?
Maybe.
The joke was there's
Of
a
your-
short guy listening that's going to simp and give cocaine to hot women, and they're not going to fuck him.
Oh, yeah, they will.
No, they. Okay.
Even Kelly,
But
even
guys-
Kelly's on Joe's side here.
Guys,
I mean, it didn't work for you.
there's
but
enough. There's always. It's not about if they didn't have sex with you after giving them cocaine, you didn't give them enough cocaine.
Yeah.
I
Kelly-
mean, I do. There's
Yeah.
very few things I stand by, but
Yeah.
not. I don't really like doing coke with people though. I like doing
Yeah?
coke. There, like last time I did coke was at Skankfest.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. But the last time,
That was a long time ago.
Did
Joel.
it enjoyably?
No, the last time I bought coke was at Skankfest.
Also not true.
Well, I was thinking. I know there was Louisiana, but
Dude, having
that
Kelly
was-
on the podcast rules.
but
Just someone in
yeah.
Joe's actual life that
But
could.
Louisiana, somebody else purchased it, and I bought it from him in the moment.
Not
This is
even
like,
talking about that.
Yeah,
but
this is-
whatever.
when I bought coke and I had like, oh, I can be social with this. I did it all in my hotel room. I did a gram of coke just by myself
At
in my hotel.
Skankfest?
Yeah,
You did a full gram.
yeah.
That's flipping psycho.
That was like all of it. But then like I was also doing like they gave me like a bunch of pills at one point.
Yeah.
And like everyone was giving me like Skankfest is fucking awesome if you're like a fucking middling comic that wants to feel like a god. Get booked on
Oh,
yeah.
Skankfest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They're like the coolest fucking fan base.
They are,
Everyone
yeah.
gave me drugs. Like fucking multiple women were like, I love your fucking podcast. I'm like, damn, really? That's
Yeah.
fucking wild.
Yeah.
And then the podcast broke up like a week later.
Right.
That was the
Yeah.
fucking coolest thing, dude.
Yeah.
End on a fucking down, like just like a downward spiral. It
Yeah.
wasn't we ended on a high note. It gradually petered off into oblivion.
Yeah, when I was at the Skankfest in New York, when Louis did, it was one of his first shows back.
Hell yeah.
And while I was in the audience watching Louis, someone asked me, "Are you Matt Maran?"
Hell
Really?
yeah.
I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "This is awesome."
It was me. I was.
It was it was Bobby.
That's how we met. Actually,
Yeah.
I was like, "Would you like to start a podcast?" I'm actually working on getting Joe's old one ended.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm setting up the dominoes to finally collapse the Loud Boy empire.
Yeah. I'm curious, Kelly. What was when Kanye started doing fashion? So it's pre-anti-Semitic Kanye. What was like the response, like from someone in fashion? What was your thought about Kanye doing fashion stuff?
I mean, Kanye has always been somebody that's doing a lot for attention.
Yeah.
I've always been a big fan of his music, so I was just like, oh, this is cool. And I don't know, I guess I definitely didn't feel like, oh, he shouldn't be doing this or this is
Right.
bad or whatever. I always thought Yeezys were really ugly.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know.
like, is it-
He revolutionized the way Kim K looked. Oh my God, the poor girl.
Because that, yeah.
Why? But,
well,
like, not
for
in
the
a good
worse. He made her look worse.
No, it made her look way better. Like you go back and you watch the first few seasons of the Kardashians, and
Yeah.
you know,
Which we will do on the Patreon.
Yeah.
I would love that. She'd look like a mess. She dressed like a mess. You know, a lot of patterns, a lot of just like really
wouldn't
dated
fuck her.
silhouettes.
Yeah.
Which
This
I
bitch
know.
wearing patterns. I'm like, get out of my face.
Men see a silhouette that's like from years prior, and they're like, no. So I mean, I didn't really have an opinion other than like, oh, this is cool.
Do people in fashion gatekeep? Is it like
Oh,
when,
yeah.
when comics see like
Yeah.
Stormy Daniels doing comedy?
Maybe
Well-
not in that way. I don't
yeah.
think, but I think it's like where you're like the spaces you're invited
I
to.
think it's the same thing where it's like, it's like everyone talks trash, off like in behind
Yeah.
closed doors, but when they're around the person like, "Oh, I love your stuff. I'd love to work with you on
Oh,
something,"
okay.
Yeah.
Because it's like the same fucking like comics will say like with a straight face like, "Oh yeah, Stormy Daniels, that was awesome working with her." And it's
Yeah.
like, "No, she fucking broke the trust of our most beloved president."
Right.
And even that wasn't enough to fucking take him down because later she had to apologize for everything because he threatened to fucking kill her like
Yeah.
a real man.
Right.
Stormy Daniels is like almost from another time because she was a sex worker that became a comedian, and now we have comedians that become sex workers.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
Would you like? I'd be like, "Hey, I want to book you on something." And they're like, "Oh wow, cool." I'm like, "Oh no, not on a show.
Yeah,
Not on a show with
you
comedians."
could come to the show, but you're going to be in the green room.
Yeah.
Donkey show.
You're gonna.
Yeah. The
You like that? You like the idea of me like hiring a fucking female comedian with an
It's not even for
OnlyFans?
your only sexual gratification. It's not for your like.
It's for the donkey.
Yeah.
It's
Joe
like
just
this
has
is,
a pet donkey that he
this
wants.
is a hardworking
Pleasure.
donkey.
Yeah.
puts in a lot of hours.
She's like, "You're a real jackass." You're like, "No, actually, that's my
Oh,
donkey."
that's a real jackass, honey.
You can't even get mad because it's a fun pun.
Oh, it's a fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
It's a really more of a visual gag, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you liked the Democrats.
Oh, there it is. Now, we don't vote in this house. What about you, Bobby?
I voted for Joe Biden just like you told me you did off mic.
Oh, really? I didn't vote for Joe Biden, though. I'm not registered.
You did vote for Joe Biden, and I will bring it up every time you
No,
bring it up.
I know, because if you register to vote and you're in a car accident, the medics will not revive you. They'll harvest your organs.
Yes, that is 100%.
So if you're
true.
registered as a Democrat, they're like, okay, well, we can donate his brain because he don't use it. That one's for the over 45 demographic that might listen
That's
to
why
this.
you kill at Christmas, honestly.
Yeah.
With quips
And,
like
like,
that.
Kelly's
Your
family.
Yeah.
Kelly's family fucking loves me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's annoying.
they know I'm anti Black Lives Matter. They know and I'm always like I'm always making quips.
Did
Kelly's
you-
grandmother asked when we're going to get married, and I said soon, and Kelly's like, no, not soon, not so.
That's a
fucking
spot on impression.
upset her grandmother.
Yeah.
I didn't upset the grandmother. They want me in the family.
Yeah.
They're just worried I'll die alone.
You're
They,
not.
they have it's less that they like you. They just have zero faith
Well,
in
you
me.
are going to die alone because I'm going to die before you. Because the thought of living without Kelly, that's no life at all.
That is funny how people say that is like a scary thing or like as an insult. They're like, you're going to die alone. I'm like, well, 50% of us will.
Everyone
Yeah.
dies unless you're fucking unless you really luck out and die in a car crash with your wife,
Right.
or a helicopter crash with your daughter, like Kobe Bryant. Remember when that rapist Kobe Bryant died in a helicopter crash, and the only one that was brave enough to speak out was Ari Shafir.
Yeah.
And then his fellow Jews in Hollywood turned their back on him, and they're like, "You're out of the Jewish cabal."
Yeah.
Matt, why did you do that? Why did you let that happen?
I'm not in the Jewish cabal.
Oh, come on.
I wish I were.
No, this podcast would do a lot
Exactly.
better. If you
We'd be doing a lot better
Did
numbers.
you guys feel a certain way when you saw Ari post that? Did you see that and think, "Oh, something bad's gonna happen to him"?
I knew something bad was going to happen because, like, people always compartmentalize. Like, fuck, people were like sad when Ronald Reagan died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, don't say anything bad about Ronald Reagan." And
Well,
it's
I
like,
saw. I mean, I
Well,
know
he's the
Ari.
husband of the throat goat. So
I-
do have a
yeah,
little bit
dude,
of
but it's
respect.
like you married somebody who didn't stay pure before marriage. You
I know
deserve to be in
Ari-
hell alongside that wench.
Yeah.
Is Deborah Reagan or whatever the fuck her name was? Is she dead?
Deborah.
Yes,
Yeah.
Nancy Reagan.
Oh, there it
Yeah.
is.
Deborah Reagan.
I thought it was some dumb bitch name.
They told Joe, learn the names of the first ladies, and he just said no.
People
Fuck
wouldn't.
that, dude.
People were sad when John McCain died too. They wouldn't take any of the jokes.
John McCain was a fucking twerp, dude. Good
Yeah.
riddance, dude. You're gonna get locked up in a cage, and his daughter sucks too, Meghan McCain.
She does
Yeah.
have big
She
titties, though.
does suck.
Yeah,
You
but
do
like they
have to
also-
give that to her.
Hey guys, cut it out with the John McCain jokes. I've had it up to here with them.
Hell
I
yeah.
think
What-
that was a
for those
joke you
just
made on the
listening-
last podcast,
Did
if
I?
I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, bitch.
Dude, we ran out of shit.
Yeah.
We're done.
It's apparent.
It's impossible to do 2 podcasts in a night.
Yeah.
But that's why we only record one now.
Dude, we'd have amazing podcast episodes if we did these quarterly. You
Yeah.
know? Like
Lots to
maybe
talk
2 a
about.
quarter.
Yeah.
80 a year.
I'd
That's
make
all we
sure to
need.
do a joke about John McCain's shoulders, no matter how infrequently we did the podcast.
Hell yeah.
Hell
dude.
yeah.
You got it, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember the Ari thing because I knew he did like wild shit. I didn't know he was doing the bit where like every time someone died,
Yeah.
he like went off. So when I first saw it, I was like waiting for the joke, and I didn't realize the whole thing was the joke. So I was just kind of like, "Ooh, this doesn't look good." I'm sure he's going for something. And then when I saw he did it other times, I'm like, okay, I get what he's doing, but I think it's just a
was
lot
so-
of people are seeing it without knowing that he does that.
Yeah,
Right.
well, it's also how funny was it? Like his career's, everyone was like his career's over, and like no one's
People who
career's.
thought his career was over are fucking them.
I'm gonna shut the camera again.
Oh yeah, Matt's fucking nervous, dude.
Or your career's
Matt
going to be
fucking-
over.
Fuck! I better check the camera. He fucking knocks over all of the AV
Fucking
equipment.
knucklehead.
I hope it's not recording. It's not.
We're recording.
Ah, fuck. Damn
Imagine
it.
or not. He just doesn't know what to look for.
That'd be fucking. He doesn't know. He's like, he was like, he doesn't want to sound stupid.
I saw a red dot. I think we're recording.
I saw my face, so I was like recording. It was like, Matt, that was your reflection in the turned off screen. Folks, we are going to get a real camera. I think it might be just the 4K
if
thing.
more of you subscribe to
I-
the Patreon.
Yes.
I feel like everything has been in 4K lately, so maybe switching it down to 1080. Give it a
No
little
one's going to
break.
notice.
No one's going to notice. No one
Yeah.
cares.
Anyway, Joe, were you a class clown?
Hell yeah, dude. I was voted class clown, bitch.
Really?
I was voted class clown. I was voted future star. I'll bring out my fucking yearbook. I'll show
Future
you.
star.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And
Did
I'm-
you do like talent shows and stuff?
I did the musical.
Okay.
I actually started getting into stand-up comedy around high school time.
Really?
So I'm actually probably the only one that is fulfilling their childhood dream. Everyone else gave up, said, I don't want to be a professional wrestler or a fashion designer or a punk rocker. I've always been a class clown. I was born a class clown. I'll die a class clown. I fucking pull out a gun, shoot myself right now.
Well, you try to, but it's just like a
fucking
paper that
bang
says
comes
bang.
out.
Yeah.
I was a class clown too, but I never thought about like doing comedy professionally.
Why not, dude?
Not when I was a kid, at least.
Really?
'Cause I don't know. I like when I watched comedy. I never watched it with the thought of, "Ooh, I want to do that." I think I was
Really?
I was playing sports growing up, so I wanted to be an athlete.
I hated playing sports. And
Yeah.
I was like, damn, I hated playing sports. I hated watching sports. But comedy was like, damn, comedy's fucking cool.
Yeah.
Like, this is cool. But then I'd see like these kids do stand-up comedy. You'd see like 12-year-olds do it. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah.
I guess I can't do it. But then like in college, everyone was like, damn, you're funny. You should do stand-up comedy. I'm like, well, maybe I will.
Yeah.
And then I did.
That was what. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
have a bunch of people say you should do stand up,
But
and
you
that's what like
didn't.
made me want. No, that was when I was in college, and that's when I started doing it.
Literally, no one has ever said to me, "You should do stand-up comedy." Not one fucking person.
They said you should marry a stand-up comedian.
Yeah,
Like your grandmother.
yeah,
Your grandmother said that.
yeah. So Joe kills at the family gatherings.
Hell yeah, dude.
I want to hear more about Joe at his
Yeah.
girlfriend's family's gatherings.
I mean, it's like Grandpa will just start popping off with some wisdom.
Talking about how Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization.
Yeah,
It's
and
so
Joe will
funny.
just yes and it pretty much.
Yeah, I'm yes
and
anding.
then my grandpa will be like, "I like this guy." It's like, yeah, I bet you do.
You're all right, kid.
Yeah.
You're all right, kid.
Yeah. Kelly's goofy dad,
Yeah.
beloved mom. Mom loves me.
Yeah. Again, they're just very happy that I found somebody. They just
You think they'd be happy no matter who it is.
I mean, if I brought somebody that was like, tattoo clad, wearing ripped jeans and
White power swastika
know.
carved into his forehead.
Like if I brought in somebody that looked like
Somebody
rough.
that looks like Charles Manson in every other way.
yeah,
Joe does look
yeah.
like Charles Manson without the swastika tattoo.
Yeah.
He's got the swastika on the inside of his heart.
Yeah,
But
dude.
what's very funny
Where it matters.
Yeah.
is that I am like I'm the shortest person in my family, and Joe is the tallest person in his family.
Joe,
So-
you're the tallest
Yeah,
in your
dude.
family.
So I love his family, but I hate hanging out with them because I truly feel like the world's largest
You
woman.
feel like you could smell the blood of an Englishman?
Fee, fi, fo, figure.
essentially.
yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like, God, man, like what a fucking freak show.
You meet
But
Joe's
then-
grandma. She's like, oh, so powerful.
Yeah, you're big. But when he's with my family, it's like, what a twerp,
Yeah.
like so little because like grandma, grandpa, everybody's so tall.
That's
Yeah.
why your grandpa's like nice to him. They're like, oh, this little guy.
Little guy,
Yeah.
little
Oh, yeah.
pipsqueak.
Oh, Kelly got a little cutie.
Yeah, something
Yeah.
like
It was
that.
fun.
Make
dude.
sure you take care of him, Kelly.
Yeah.
I don't know why he has a southern accent.
we get to go to New Jersey. We fucking hang out, man. It's a good time. We eat
Yeah.
dinner.
Yeah. We don't go to New Jersey all that often. We will be going for Easter though, so buckle up.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, live from New Jersey. It's
Yeah.
the Lovers Podcast.
Bobby, you're shorter than your dad, but taller than your mom.
Yeah, my mom's very short. She's like 5 feet even.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Little-
my dad's
little-
tall. My dad's well, no, he's taller than me. He's 5'8", but he's like stocky.
Yeah.
Do
My
you think
mom.
you take your dad?
No, my dad
Yeah.
could beat me up.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
My dad will have to be very old before.
Damn, I'm
that
gonna beat the
will change.
shit out of my fucking dad. Dude.
Yeah.
I can't wait. What about you,
beat
Matt?
up your dad?
Oh,
now?
I could beat the shit out of that
Yeah.
fucking guy.
Yeah.
I could beat up my parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fucking. That's a.
What a weird thing to think about.
That's a.
Just
Really?
nice people that did their best raising you.
Maybe your parents, dude.
Oh right, yeah,
Yeah.
your dad did beat you for shitting.
My
your
dad
pants.
did beat me, and now the tables have turned.
Yeah.
Now, old man, now that you're weak and I'm in the prime of my life,
Yeah.
now that I got my cholesterol under control, I'm gonna fucking kill
My
you.
dad
Yeah.
growing up was like such a good cop.
Really?
Like he was good.
There's no such thing as a good cop, Bobby.
Yes, a cap, of course.
Your
but
dad
like,
was one of the good ones.
my dad was one of the. Listen, he was a good apple. No, but like my mom was bad cop. My dad worked all the time, so he was a good cop. He just wanted to be the fun.
Yeah.
But I remember one time, like I got out of line and he just like grabbed me by the arm, and I was like, "Oh, he's a man."
Really?
It was the most. I think I like came very close to peeing a little.
Bobby. Calm down.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh, this is a dude.
Yeah.
Shit.
I specifically remember one time when I was young, I would get spanked.
Hell yeah.
And my parents have told
No, he
me.
does, but it's for a different reason.
Yeah, my parents have told me that when they would spank me, I would say, didn't hurt, and I would just like challenge them to do it harder. And then at a certain point, I would just stop. I'd be like, and they're like, okay, he's had it. At that
damn,
point,
dude.
it's hard enough. But I specifically remember one time, I don't remember what I did or whatever. My dad just like punched me in the arm, and it was just like a whoa. Okay,
Damn, dude.
I
What do
gotta
you
I gotta not
guys-
do.
How do you guys feel about hitting children? If you had kids, would you hit them?
Absolutely fucking not. And
I
I'm
don't
saying
think
that because
so.
my dad hit me, and all it did was make me resent him. I never
Yeah.
thought like I did
Yeah.
something bad. All it made me do is hate my father, and I still hate my father. Dad, if you're watching this, I'm sorry, but come on.
I don't think
you should have known
the
better.
spanking or like the one punch in the arm is like a hey. I think you can. I think a grab in the arm, something to let you know, hey, don't do that. But yeah, it didn't like getting hit didn't make me feel this like hatred for my parents in any way.
Really?
But I do think that it could, and the negative is like way more. That negative is way. I don't want to risk that.
Yeah, I've
Yeah.
never once felt like I deserved that. I'd always like I could never take them seriously when
Yeah.
they would,
Oh, in hindsight, I think every
respond
time I got
crazy.
hit, they should have hit me. I think I was like troublemaker and like doing stuff I shouldn't have done.
I see some stuff on TikTok of like parents posting how like they gentle parent their kids, and like you'll see a kid really having a breakdown,
Yeah.
which would warrant like a just absolute demolishing of
Yeah.
their everything, and they're just like very calm with them and speak to them, and the kid calms down, and then you're reminded like, oh yeah, like what that kid's crazy reaction of like screaming and banging their head against the floor is because they don't know how to react otherwise,
Yeah,
and they
that's
need to
their
be like
first time
regulated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like
Instead of being
people don't
like,
yeah, people like are like looking at kids like the way like they're expecting like kids to have like full knowledge of their fucking emotions, but like as a parent you've been around for like 20 30 plus years,
Yeah.
so you've experienced this shit before, but kids, this is like their first time experiencing like a pain or a loss or anything like that, so of course like their emotions are going to be all over the place, and then like if their thing is to get hit or something.
Yeah.
That's like all they're saying is like, okay, the only thing like getting hit made me do was like, okay, I need to hide this from my
literally, I
parents.
was just gonna
Yeah.
say it made me better at hiding stuff.
It just made me hide. They made me distrust them, and like even when they would say like, "Oh, you can come to me with anything," I'm like,
I
"Yeah,
never
right.
believed that
I
shit
fucking
ever.
no." And you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
Yeah, don't go to your parents with anything.
Never.
Yeah.
Bottle it up.
Children,
Isn't-
child that's watching this.
It was interesting where between my dad and my mom, I always felt like I had more in common with my dad. We'd watch like baseball together, like so in that way when you were talking about like good cop, bad cop, but my mom was the more fun one. Like my dad is more risk averse than my mom.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like my mom would like play ball in the house with me. It was like as a unit, we say do not play ball in the house. But then when my dad's in the other room, my mom will like play catch with me. My thing was I wanted her to ball up the sock balls, and throw it on the couch so I could run and make a diving catch and land on the couch.
Aw, that's cute.
And
Still
we'd have
something
to,
you want to do.
Oh yeah, we'd like have to hide the sock ball when my dad would come in because he would tell us not to.
Or he'll beat both of you,
Yes.
and then tune the piano.
Yeah.
What about you, Bobby?
Oh, would I hit my kids?
Yeah.
No.
No.
Were you
no.
hit?
I remember one time. Actually, I don't remember this. My mom told me later.
Because you got hit so hard.
You
Yeah,
blacked it
maybe.
out.
Yeah, I blacked out.
Bobby has CTE.
She in a moment of she didn't want to be a parent that hit. Like she was against it in theory, but in a moment of frustration she slapped me and I said, "Do you think that hurt?" So like she was just like, "Oh, it just doesn't work."
Yeah.
But I think that was just a moment of me being like a badass.
I
How
think
old were you
about
when you
that.
said that?
I too young to remember. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
Do you think that hurt? That's kind of like a fucking tough kid thing to say.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, granted, it was my mom. If it was my dad, I probably would have had a different reaction.
What would you
Yeah.
have said?
Right.
You'd say, "Fuck you, Dad. I'll kill you."
I mean, your dad maybe would have actually hurt you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I remember like getting
That
spanked.
was kind of
actually,
dumb as
yeah.
me for me though. I could have just like, well, I guess you also get grounded. It's not like you get hit and then
Yeah,
that's the end.
you
of
get
the
spanked
punishment.
and you get grounded. It's like
Yeah.
just fucking ground me. Why do you have to
Yeah.
fucking hurt me?
Mhm.
Yeah.
It sucked, dude. When I got spanked, it fucking hurt.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
fucking hurt, dude.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then like my parents like, oh, we didn't know how to be parents. Like, then don't have fucking kids.
Yeah.
I
You know?
will say that like the way I feel about and this is going to make sense in a second. Like I think torture, like the US government torturing people, that should be illegal. But there is a scenario in which the US government should break the law.
Yeah. Oh, I mean,
Right.
You know what I
I'm in
mean?
No, I
favor.
get what
I'm
you
in favor
mean,
of
yeah.
waterboarding kids.
Yeah, exactly.
But like torture doesn't get like if you torture somebody, they'll admit to whatever.
There possibly, but there is like a scenario in which like they would give you the information if they had information to give you.
Like when? Like what do you think they would? Who do you think would give it out? Like how has there ever been like a case where it's like? Well,
I mean, I don't think it would be done if it never worked.
But I think, we don't know that. But like, I mean, that would just mean like, okay, I'm gonna give one person like false information.
Right.
I'm gonna give another person like no one. That just means like a bunch of people are running around without like the full picture.
I think it's like catcalling. It's done because at times it works, but it's also something we probably shouldn't do.
No, it's like cat. Like one time it worked. One time.
Yeah,
it worked.
that's
Hundreds
more,
of years
that's more
ago.
it.
Yeah.
One time it worked.
But
Yeah.
Joe,
Yeah.
what if the only way to stop a nuclear holocaust was to tell a woman that she has great titties?
It wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah.
To give
To
what
stop
kind
a
of, what kind
nuclear-
of, yeah, what kind of
You have to look
dystopia?
at a woman with big tits and say, "Mommy."
Yeah.
It wouldn't be worth. What kind of dystopia would it be where a woman's walking around with confidence? I'd rather nuclear holocaust, por
Yeah.
favor.
Yeah.
So the reason I brought that up is I think I'm against hitting kids. But, for example, if my teenage son called his mother a cunt,
Right.
I would punch him in the face.
Well,
Right.
wait, what was the mom doing? Was she being a fucking cunt?
Maybe mom was being a cunt.
Yeah.
You know
What
what? Maybe
What if,
she was
yeah.
being a
fuck,
cunt.
you're gonna simp for your fucking wife over your son, dude?
Also,
hey,
well,
you
like-
don't talk to her. Like, keep my wife's name out of your damn mouth. Get out of here, dude.
What if
it's
your
like
kid-
that? It's like
Yeah.
like he calls it.
Oh, it's okay when you do it, Dad.
Yeah. I learned it from watching you, Dad.
Oh,
Also, what if your kid's Australian?
That's true.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, don't call your mom a cheeky cunt, okay? I understand. I don't know how you're Australian and we're not, but you don't do that.
If we had a kid and he called Kelly a cunt, I'd be like, you gonna let him talk to you like that? Damn, dude. It's like, whoa, shit, dude. Oh, fuck, dude.
Joe would be like a black comedy audience member. Oh, shit.
Oh, I just start running up and down the fucking. Oh, hell no. I did that thing you just get up and turn around. Like,
Do the
oh,
Booker T.
Tell me you didn't just say that.
Joe's just the constantly Steve Harvey of his household.
Steve
Can
Harvey
you
Family
believe this
Feud.
shit? Can you believe this shit? God damn.
That sounds like a pretty intense family feud, to be honest with you.
yeah.
But it's also one of those things, like, I always think of, like, if I see a kid acting up in public where even I'm, as someone that's against hitting kids, even I'm like, maybe you should hit him. The parents have also fucked up that the kid is acting like that in public.
They're not disciplining their kid.
Yeah.
Well, you know, kids will be kids. Like,
Yes.
kids will have a mental breakdown in public
Yes.
despite you not wanting them to. Like,
Yeah.
even if you're the world's greatest parent. So, I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean,
I do remember one of the classes I was coaching a tennis class, and one of the kids, the tape on their racket, the handle of their racket ripped, so the head coach was replacing it, and another girl was upset that hers was a little dirty and said, "You need to replace mine too." And he was like, "No, you replace it when it's like broken, not if it's a little dirty." She's like, "This is unacceptable." And like, there's no way a 5-year-old came up with that without hearing her mom say it at some point.
Yeah, but her
Maybe
mom
hit
was
that one.
She probably just heard her mom talking on the phone.
Yeah.
doing some business because like the mom idiotically thought she could have a career and raise a child. You know.
The little girl just had, like, that short cropped haircut.
Yeah. It's like I had to pull her aside and say, "Look, you don't want to be a little Karen now, do you?"
And she's like, "Mr. Merwin, I want to speak to your manager."
Yeah. That was how I talked to her.
I do remember saying to my parents, like, I had cursed or something.
Yeah.
And, like, we always cursed. They were just very selective as to when it was a problem. And I remember.
Oh, when it begins with an N, I can't do it. Okay.
Well, yeah, whatever. So, I remember I cursed and was getting in trouble for it, and I said something to the effect of, like, I wonder where I learned how to talk like that, as if to say, like, you fuckers always
It's your
curse.
fault, yeah.
Yeah, and my parents had the worst reaction. They were like, "Oh, good thing we're we're not shooting up heroin then. Like, fuck you guys.
That's
like,
very funny.
Oh, I hate you.
Yeah.
That's like a fucking hilarious response. Like, well, fucking do it. Maybe they don't have some cool habits, you know?
Yeah.
I remember when we were kids, my little brother, we were in the supermarket and we wanted to get Pokémon cereal, and my mom said no, we couldn't get it. My brother tried to convince her by saying, but Pokémon cereal is part of a complete and balanced breakfast.
Damn, that shit works.
Repeat the big words you heard in a commercial.
That's so
That's
funny.
so funny. Oh, little Jake.
Yeah.
You know what? You know
Friend
what's
of the
funny?
show.
Yeah, remember? I hate how they would always be like a complete breakfast. And it was like a banana and toast.
There
and
was a
like,
whole
yeah.
spread.
and it's like
All
fuck
of your
that, dude.
carbohydrates and nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still like cereal though.
Cereal.
I mean, if you're
cereal
going to have
segments.
carbs, have them in the morning. So you
Or
burn
at
them.
night.
No, not at night.
Or whatever.
You're not supposed to do carbs at night.
I'm already thinking about what I'm going to order on my pizza. I'm getting pizza.
You're not really.
Yeah.
You probably shouldn't eat anything that.
You're not supposed to eat it. I mean, in general,
Fuck that. I'm eating it.
When
now.
you eat
What's
it,
that-
I'm
what's the-
hungry.
what time do you have to stop eating, Matt?
usually like 3 to 4 hours before you go to sleep.
Okay.
That's all arbitrary. That's literally fake.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
if you want to be in a calorie deficit and you eat like right before you go to bed, you're not doing any walking before bed.
Right. You're
Well,
not gonna
you
burn
you
it
burn
off.
you burn calories in your sleep. So if you eat before you go to bed, the calories you're burning are from food you ate, as opposed to just burning naturally.
Not
That's
worth it.
something like
Not worth
that.
it.
Yeah, it's something like that I heard a long time ago, and I'm probably giving out false information.
I mean,
now.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's I don't know, things with diet, it's like you hear so much information because I've generally believed the more you eat earlier on and the less you eat later on is good.
Yeah.
But I've also, because I've been thinking about protein lately, that you should eat more protein at night.
You know, here's how you
So
go.
don't eat
Yeah.
at night, but eat protein at night. I'm like, well, which is
Yeah. What?
You
know.
you eat like a king in the morning.
Mhm.
You eat like a prince in the afternoon.
This is gonna
and
be
and
meaningless.
you eat like a peasant in the
Okay.
evening.
Ooh.
Okay.
'Cause you've run out
Yeah.
of money for the day.
Yeah.
How
When
about,
you,
how about
afford
that,
anything.
bitch? That's actually some fucking good information.
Well,
What
and
you
what
eat
does
a
that
lot.
mean?
You eat a lot in the morning.
Uh-huh.
You have a light meal
Uh-huh.
for lunch, and then in the evening you eat something like very light, if anything at all.
Okay, so like
So at
what I
night-
just said 3 minutes ago.
Yes.
No, it's different. But
at
it's-
night you
it's,
eat like a woman king.
Well, this is a little something I've been working on.
Yeah.
In my Dianetics class. I dabble in it.
Dianetics class?
Yeah.
Is he? Were you trying to say diet?
No, I'm a Dianetics, dude. I'm a
He's a
Scientologist.
Scientologist.
Where's Shelly Mitchkevich?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
She fucking learned her lesson.
Yeah.
Yeah, jeez.
How cool is that? Of all the
Don't beat your kids, but make them disappear if they don't
Yeah,
believe.
yeah, yeah.
Well, damn, dude. It's
Well,
like
you can always make your wife disappear.
Right.
There's no laws against that.
Scientology is like proof that religion is not just for poor people. Like you could trick a millionaire into like reading a silly
well,
book.
of all the fucking religions, at least we get one that has like fucking aliens and shit.
Yeah,
Like
that's
Jesus
true.
Christ is like, oh, I go up to heaven. It's like, cool. What's in heaven? Like, oh, angels. Fuck that, dude. That sounds gay as hell. And then like the only cool thing is like demons, but you have to be like fucking awful to see them.
Yeah.
But at least with Scientology, it's like, look, not only do you get to be a fucking Hollywood elite, you also get to see like cool aliens and hang out with Tom Cruise.
Here's the natural evolution. First Jews, it was just like, what if there's one God? It's just a God, and he sometimes makes a flood happen. Then Christians were like, what if there's miracles? And now it's like, what if there's aliens? It's
Yeah.
just got to keep getting crazier.
I like aliens.
Aliens
that
went
garden
back
of-
to polytheism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, that Garden of Eden you guys love so much. What if it was in Missouri?
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to change shit up a little bit.
Okay.
It'd be kind of it'd be boring if it was all the same. Actually, we kind of got more boring because like the old Egyptian gods, like the sun god, this guy, they're like,
Horus.
nope, there's just one, and they'll turn you into salt if you don't like him.
Yeah.
Like,
The polytheism to monotheism thing is funny to me because like polytheism existed because we didn't know how shit worked. So we're like,
Yeah.
how does water work?
Right.
Water god. How does the sun work? Sun god. And then we're like, oh no, this is how water works. This is how the sun works. And then it's like, but we still don't know how the universe started. So universe god. And it's like, don't you think we might learn about the universe later? And then like there won't be a universe god either.
I
Yeah.
hope. Well, what will happen to my beloved Yahweh then?
I think he will take his take a seat with
Do you
Zeus.
think we go
and-
back? You think we go back to polytheism, and all the people in poly couples are the first ones to go there?
I mean,
hope
if
not.
anyone has a
Anywhere-
God complex, it's somebody
Yeah.
in a polytheistic
I just want to
relationship.
be anywhere that poly people are not.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was cringing so hard the other day. I stumbled onto the For You section of Twitter, even though Matt warned me not to.
Yeah.
I went to the dark side. I looked for the For You, and there was a guy. I guess he's this polytheistic guy, and he referred to one of his. First of all, it sounds fucking cool to have multiple girlfriends.
Oh,
Yeah.
a polygamist.
Yeah, but he's not. He's poly, and he referred to one of his women as a lover. I was like, dude, you somehow made fucking multiple women gay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My lover.
That's about all the
Fuck off.
How come
Yeah.
it's
Wear a
like
scarf.
yeah. How come it's like fucking losers like that have multiple girlfriends, not cool guys like me?
Yeah.
Because
I will say,
Kelly's the only woman I need. That's why. God damn it.
if you
Well,
ever,
your
you
arms
ever-
are too short to fit around multiple women. So.
Juice.
if you ever meet a guy and he's like, I'm polyamorous, I got this girlfriend, that girlfriend, you do not know what they look like.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a important caveat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're in your mind, they're all like these supermodels or at least average-looking women people. Beautiful.
Women can be people now.
You've heard it here, folks.
Brave new world.
But they're not. They're uggos. I've seen them.
Yeah.
They all have
And so are the guys. The guys are
Yeah.
fucking uggos.
The guys
Like,
look weird and the women look unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
They all and
unsettling is the perfect way to
Yeah.
stick and poke tattoos that just mean communism in some way.
Yeah.
they look like the kind of people you find at a Walmart.
yeah. Yeah, it's people of Walmart if Walmart only sold patchouli oil.
Yeah.
That's who they
And
are.
there was a hot topic in the Walmart.
Yeah.
People who shop at Whole Foods but look like they shop at Walmart.
Yes. You did it, dude.
Man,
Yeah.
that sucks, man.
Yeah. Lover.
Yeah.
Ugh. It's one of those. You ever see something you almost throw your phone?
Yeah, 'cause
You're like,
it's so
I'm
disgusting.
gonna get something
Yeah.
from that.
Man,
Yeah.
Twitter sucks now.
Mm.
Sucks.
Yeah. Whenever I see comedians post reels. I was about to start naming a comedian, but we're not on the Patreon episode.
Right.
Yeah.
Um.
Hopefully we're still recording.
Yeah.
We can only
Hopefully.
hope.
Dude,
Dude.
the reels.
got like 10
You know
minutes.
what I'm learning about the reels, and some reels are hilarious.
Some of them are.
Of course, especially the ones on the locker room talk.
The ones
Instagram.
that people in this room post, next level.
Yes.
Next level. The ones that Joe posts of his comedy. The ones that Matt posts of his comedy. I don't feel like doing it.
Same.
Yeah. But like some of them, people that you've never seen them do stand, they're like a level above us, but you're like, they're past places. They're on these podcasts. They must be funny. And their reels are just the most banal observations that
Makes
you're
my
like,
heart flutter in a
yeah.
bad way.
Yeah, they're like, here. You ever notice how like sometimes I don't listen to my wife, and it's like, fuck, man, Jesus, who do you know?
It's
Yeah.
like they just
Introduce me
yeah.
to who you know.
Hey, there's a big sports event happening this weekend, but I don't know anything about sports.
Yikes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Crazy.
uh-huh.
And I hate to be somebody that like makes commentary on how like the state of comedy and comedy audiences.
But it is
But
horrible.
there are a lot of people that are now in the audience thinking that this is like a Q&A because the internet is showing them like a lot of crowd work and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
And they don't understand
There's
that it's
some
like,
people-
shut your
yeah.
fucking mouth.
Yeah.
Don't speak. You're not going to go online with me. Like,
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah.
So annoying.
They think all of comedy is crowd work and roasting.
Yeah.
It should be all of roasting.
Yeah. Say like if someone's roasting St. Patrick's Day,
On the Spit Roast on Gas Digital Network.
which will be
Oh.
available when, Matthew?
Maybe next week, but a few days after this episode comes out.
He'll
Yes,
post a
and we are
reel.
Yeah.
recording on a Wednesday.
Yes.
Yes.
And the spit roast that Matt and Nathan Orton
yes.
Ooh.
are they're spit
Well,
roasting.
it's supposed to be St. Patrick's Day.
But who
That's
knows?
It's one of the thousands of options
Right.
that the AI robot on the Spit Roast could choose.
Yes. yeah. And Matt, I mean, the last time you did that show, you did amazing.
Yeah, my opponent wasn't that good, but I was able to like pull us both up.
Nice.
You pulled him up, and they appreciate that. I heard that this guy that you did the last spit roast with,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I agree with how you characterize his comedy, but I heard that his body was complimented by Robert Kelly.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
because none of his jokes were good, so you had to
Yeah.
compliment something.
That's you got to give him something.
right.
you
What
know?
did Robert Kelly say?
He said that Bobby looks good from the neck down.
Did you hear that? He complimented my body. Isn't that so nice of
Yeah,
somebody?
he said that it was a shame that your face fucked it all up.
Yeah.
Robert Kelly wanted to taste.
I
Yeah.
can't change my face,
Yeah.
but I am in charge of my body.
Mm.
So I actually very much liked it, and I told him as much in the green room. I said, "Thank you for complimenting my body," and
And
he said,
he's-
"You make it sound fucking gay, kid."
Well, it is gay.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
It's like
very
complimenting
gay.
another man's body. Robert Kelly, you're a fucking faggot, dude. Let me open for you.
You know what, dude? You're gay.
I was
You know what, dude? You're gay.
I was so surprised. I found him and Joe Rogan. I am very surprised that they were hot guys.
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
He was a hot guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Joe Rogan, like, his looks were going, and he's like, "I will be a big muscle man."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then Bobby Kelly's like,
hair
"I
was
fell in
going.
love with a woman that accepted him for him." So he was like, "All
Robert
right."
Kelly talks about being fully addicted to food.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's also part of it because he's off of drugs and alcohol and he's like, it just moved to food.
Yeah.
I'd rather be the drugs and alcohol and food.
Food addiction is like probably the lamest one.
Food addiction is like just chew gum. Like I don't know.
No. Food addiction is real. Coming from a fat person, it's
But it's not
hard.
cool though.
I know. It's not
Yeah.
it's not glamorous.
Mhm.
And you know.
And it's the one thing you can't, no pun intended, cold turkey food.
Yeah. You're
Because
like
food you need
have
to
have
survive.
it. Yeah. That's part, like, I kind of have a joke about this, but that's part of what Weight Watchers understands. If you go to a Weight Watchers thing, it's literally an AA room for fat people.
Mm-hmm.
Or not even fully fat people. There are skinny people there too, but it's you know, they
Yeah.
talk about, I remember sitting in a Weight Watchers meeting and mostly women were talking about, like, you know, their desire for food. And my friend next to me was like, I feel like I'm in the wrong room. Like, I should be in, like, an alcoholic's room because this is how I feel about wine.
Oh, funny.
My name is Matt, and I like McDonald's.
Yeah.
Everyone stands up.
Hi, Matt. It's been 75 days since my last Big Mac.
Yeah.
that is a privilege though. Like, if wine is what you're addicted to, I mean, people will figure out eventually. But if you have a food addiction, people know.
Yeah.
That's what kind of sucks.
Harder
You
to
can
hide.
kind of hide the other drug addictions
Not
a
if
little
you're
bit.
bulimic on top of being
Yeah.
a food addict.
You're
yeah,
bulimic.
that's true. Then you got to look
Oh.
at their teeth.
Yeah.
You got to floss and brush your teeth after you vomit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It still will erode.
Oh.
It'll-
Yeah. Yeah, wait, so you went to Weight Watchers meetings?
Oh yeah, I've gone like, because I remember being like prepubescent and like going with my mom and grandma.
Oh, they were doing Weight Watchers stuff too?
Yeah. I've always grew up with like my mom and grandma doing diets and things like
Okay.
that.
What are the Weight Watchers meetings like when you go there?
So I've gone in many different stages of my life, and they've been the same every single time.
Yeah.
You go in, and you wait in line to get weighed. You get weighed. You like update.
It's like wrestling, dude.
Yeah, it's we have to do the weigh-in before the big fight.
Yeah.
Is everyone like cutting weight the day before?
Probably, to be honest.
Yeah.
So, like, oh, because
Dehydrate yourself 24 hours beforehand.
There's one skinny guy just drinking protein shake after protein shake.
because I guess that's like part of the accountability aspect of, and they don't encourage you to have like scales in your house. Come here. Of course, that like is part of the business model to keep coming back. So you get weighed in, you find out if you've lost or gained, and then you go and you sit. And usually the person that's running the meeting will like have a topic to discuss, some kind of presentation, you know, pertaining to weight loss or exercise, something to that effect.
What is the
And then
vibe
there's,
like?
sharing.
Like a church almost?
It's like
A cult?
no.
The weigh in, by the way, that means there's somebody that's the fattest person at the Weight Watchers.
Well, there's always going to be the fattest person.
I mean, I don't think they call out the numbers
Yeah.
like at a deli counter. We got 616 here, 616.
They get on like it's like a giant scale. They get on where everyone can see the weight.
Yeah.
and then it's like 300 pounds. Like,
But yeah, what is the vibe like?
The best way I can
Like
describe
an
it.
AA meeting?
So it's kind of like, yeah, a little bit like some kind of meeting of that nature. It's kind of like every time I've ever gone to a Weight Watchers meeting, it always felt like an empty blockbuster, like a blockbuster without the movies, you know, like that's the kind of room you're in.
Okay.
And everybody sits around like in like almost like a horseshoe. And there's like the person in the front, like, you know, running or moderating the meeting. And, you know, people will share just as if you would share if you were in like a meeting of some kind and like that. And, people get really emotional. Like it'll be really somber. It'll be really, you'll be excited for somebody. Like, oh, you know, I
Like
hit
if
my
they have a
goal
good story
weight.
and you're like, that really takes the cake.
They talk about how they took the cake and now they want to kill themselves,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
You can't have your cake and eat it too, but damn it, I've been trying.
I had my cake and now it's through.
Yeah.
My life.
Now I have diabetes. So yeah, the vibe is they usually try, like they have to like go out of their way to end the meeting on a high note. You know, they don't want to end it on like a bummer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you
How
ever
many-
heard somebody like, because I went to a few AA meetings and there was always like, I was always like, oh, I'm glad I'm not as bad as that guy. Like some guy would share like this crazy story of like he crashed his car.
Right.
You know, was there ever a story like that where you're like, oh, well, thank God I've never like eaten a sheet cake in the bathroom or something.
I mean, when it comes to food, I've done like really weird things, so no. But I have gone to AA meetings because growing up, my parents were always in recovery meetings, and so they didn't have a babysitter, so I would go. So sometimes I feel like I say, oh, like I've gone to AA meetings, and people are like, you're trying to stop drinking, and it's like, no, I went like as a child with my
Yeah,
parents.
you're like
I,
Jane Goodall for
Yeah.
AA meetings.
Yeah.
That's
It's like,
interesting.
no, I just have Irish family members.
Yeah.
yeah.
No, my
just
last name is Taylor. That's-
everybody's an addict of some kind.
Yeah.
And I remember, oh God. At a certain point, I got old enough and I didn't want to go to these fucking meetings with my parents. And I think part of them thought like maybe it would be like a good, scared straight kind of thing.
By the way, their whole thing is like, well, we don't shoot up heroin. You're like, yeah, but you're fucking pretty close.
Well, yeah, it, like,
Yeah.
you know, that's why I'm a big believer that like whatever your addictions are, they transfer to something else, because my parents cleaned up their act when I was a baby. And so in their mind, they're like, you can't use that against us because it's not like we were, you know, drinking in front of you or whatever the case may be for whatever they had. And it's like, yeah, no, but I still grew up with two addicts raising me, you know, being crazy about whatever. And, I remember one time my mom like wanted me to come to like the family day for her meeting. And I'm like, I really don't want to go. Like, I'm kind of too old for this shit. But I go, and my mom's like, no, it'll be fun. It'll be nice. Plus, like, all these people want to see you. 'Cause
Open bar.
they remember me. They remember me from being, like, a baby. So I go, and I'm sitting there, and everything's cool until this one lady was just like, so I almost had a slip up. And it's just like, oh, now I'm uncomfortable because now this lady has to share, and anonymity is part of this thing, and I'm not a part of this program,
And
but
I'm
I'm sitting in
filming.
here.
Yeah.
You know? And I remember one time my dad like was pushing me. I really want you to come to family day. I really want you to come to family day. And then joke was on him because I went begrudgingly. And then the guy who runs the meeting will just randomly pick people to share because there was too many people there for everyone to share. And they picked him. And I heard the whole story of like, you know, what happened. Like,
Whoa.
and I heard
the last thing you want your daughter to hear.
yeah. And I heard the whole thing. And he was like, I remember he called his name and my dad gets up. He's like, fuck. He gets up and he shares, and it was like, I don't know. I like learning things about people. I thought it was very insightful. I
really
thought it was cool.
like when you learn things about your parents being real people.
Yeah.
Especially as you get older, it's kind of like, all right, what's the fucked up stuff you did?
Yeah. Like, you know, you are admitting to a time when this marriage was falling apart, so you had to
Yeah.
make a change.
I do
like,
a joke on stage about it, but I did when I was a teenager. Found out my mom slept with the teacher to pass a French class in college.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sacre bleu.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Zoot lors, dude.
I didn't know your mom was cool.
Yeah. No, my mom was really cool. She was like, when she grew up in like the '60s, it was like, you're a woman, you just get a secretary job, find a rich husband.
Hell yeah.
So she like, she said one job, she was like a secretary pouring coffee, and one of the guys in this like big office like grabbed her ass when she was pouring the coffee, and she just turned and poured it right on his lap and got fired.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
amazing.
Good for you. I've never had a job like that. I did teach French for a little while. That was it.
Yeah, but
Well, you should
Yeah.
fucking tutor Mademoiselle Maran.
I don't. What was it? Like when you were older, because there is something kind of cool about they saw you when you were a kid, and then
Yeah.
you're older, and they're like, "Whoa, look how much you've grown."
Yeah.
It's like there's a very fine line between people who saw you when you were younger, and you start to get the "Whoa, you've grown up so much," and then there's a tipping point where it becomes, "Whoa, you used to be so cute."
That may be a personal
Some of us
experience
have
to you.
heard that at fucking 13.
Really?
Yeah, because I was a very cute little boy.
Yeah.
And then, oh boy, did I become an awkward adolescent and then an
Yeah.
awkward adult.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Really, I feel like once I was like late 20s or so, it started to be like pictures of you as a kid, like, "Oh, you were so cute," jokingly, like, "What happened?"
Yeah.
But when you're like late teens, early 20s, it's just about how much you've grown.
Yeah. No, I've always gotten like the "you're so beautiful, you
Yeah.
look exactly like your mom, exactly like your
Things
dad."
you want to hear from Joe. But
I remember this one person goes, "Oh my God, Bob, she looks just like you." And my dad goes, "Don't say that. That's an insult to her."
or an insult to him. He has fucking feminine features.
Yeah,
No.
Bob, this beautiful woman.
Yeah, I always felt weird. My parents would always try and be like, "Oh, you have my eyes," or "You have my hair," and I was like, "I don't give a shit who's whatever I have."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's like a big deal to them, but I'm like, I don't care.
My sister looks like my father.
Literally spitting image. Yeah.
The
I don't look like no one.
Yeah, you're probably adopted.
You look like
Maybe.
the milkman.
That'd explain why I'm so fucking cool.
The woman at the AA meeting or the AA party that was like, I almost had to slip up, and
Yeah.
then just changes the vibe of the thing. Just reminds me so much of my uncle, who's an AA guy, who needs to make every family
So
gathering.
upsetting.
He's like, well, it's 10 years since Dad passed, so I think we should all go around and share.
Yeah.
It's like you're being autistic right now. What we're actually doing is enjoying each other's company, and then if we're paired off and there's an organic moment
Right.
of
Yeah.
of
Right.
whatever, but stop trying to do. It's like a person that wants to do party games,
Yeah.
but it's worse than that because it's not even like forced fun. It's like forced. Like
Well, you know,
emotional
he
bond.
Yeah.
It's
way
also,
worse.
He's let's all share. He wants to share. It's like if I at Thanksgiving,
Right.
I was like, why don't we all do 5 minutes of
Yeah,
our most
let's-
recent stand-up
I'll
comedy?
tell a joke. Totally.
Yeah, I'll do that right now, dude.
And then another thing that I find that people in recovery do is they'll always point out that someone else or like that there's somebody that like obviously needs recovery. Like for my mom, it's always everybody is a drunk. Like you could just enjoy a glass of wine and it's like well, she's a drunk. I don't know what do you want? She's a drunk. And it's like, okay, well, we're also talking about how she was an asshole. Like, I don't want to,
Yeah.
like, I don't want this to be the only thing we're talking about. Yeah, she probably drinks too much and should stop. I'll give you a point. But like, the larger issue is that they're a fucking asshole. Like, I don't know.
Sometimes I think they're very condescending people in a program.
Yeah.
Like I'll tell and I just don't make being sober my whole personality, but like some other comics, they'll be like, "Oh, are you a friend of Bill?" Which is like their way of asking if you go to AA, because Bill W is the founder of.
Oh, it's
like
friend
a
of
secret
Judy,
way.
Friend of
Yeah.
Judy.
Your friend of Judy, same
Yeah.
idea, yeah. Friend. Well,
I've-
they asked
yeah.
me that.
Yeah.
But like,
You're
oh, are
like,
you a friend?
yeah.
of
I actually don't know what that means, but Bobby told me.
Yeah. Exactly. But so I always I try to be respectful because the way I actually feel about it is that it sucks. But I'll be like, oh no, it's not for me, but I respect it. And they always go, yeah, man. I mean, as long as it's working. like whatever. There's this whole thing. They're
They're-
like, I know you're really a dry drunk and you're
Yes,
very, very
they're
sad.
saying it without saying it that you're gonna relapse.
Yeah. And I'm
Yeah.
like, man,
it's so
7 years.
condescending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Look, if you don't need to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and
Yeah,
Savior, I guess that's okay for you
Dude,
if
the
that's what works for
chapter
you.
To the agnostic in AA, and full disclosure, Doug Stanhope talks about this.
Yeah.
But the chat there's so
in case you thought this was an original thought.
don't ever think that. But I experienced it for myself too because I was like, all right, what does AA actually say about God? Because the first rule is higher power, but the AA people are always quick to say it doesn't mean God. There's a chapter in the big book of AA called the letter to the agnostic or something like that. By the way, it's not the letter to the atheist. They can't even conceive of that. They're like, you're agnostic. I'm like,
Right.
I'm actually not. They're like, you're agnostic.
There's no God.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not a fucking child. Don't lie to me.
I
I'm
mean-
an alcoholic trying to get help. Don't fucking give me this fucking fictional character on a cloud.
Yeah,
You know?
so but that's how I actually feel. But
Oh,
but the chapter to the agnostic is here's how you could believe in God, and it's like it's fucking like and it's basically an uncle's argument.
Yeah.
They're like, well, have you seen electricity?
Right.
The Bill
Yeah.
O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Tides come in, tides come out. Can't
Never
explain it.
miscommunication.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
fucking gravitational pull
You've
of the
never
moon.
seen your own brain. Does that mean you don't have a brain?
I've seen my own brain. I've had cat
Holy
scans.
shit!
Yeah.
Wait.
Damn, I fucking don't believe in
Oh.
God now.
I actually.
Official on Locker Room Talk. I renounce the sacrifice of Jesus Christ, and I no longer accept him as my Lord and Savior. I only believe in science.
Much like a Weight Watchers meeting, we like to end on a high note, and I can't think of a higher note than that. So,
Oh,
Kelly Taylor, where can people find you?
On Instagram at Hello, This is Kelly, and on everything else, Modern Goth Girl.
Seltzer and Bitters, Tiny Cupboard, March 22nd. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next time. Hopefully
Colin
this one
Tyrell,
recorded.
Please respond to Joe's DM.
Yeah, please call him.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody.